Go into a possible peacekeeping mission in the Ukraine. So what does that look like? Well, at the moment, obviously we've got the peace talks going on between America, Russia and Ukraine, and deals being developed. Not done yet, but they're being developed. However, possible peacekeeping mission at the moment, France and United Kingdom are leading the initiative on this, and New Zealand is in line with the UK in terms of sending a peacekeeping force after the peace deals have been brokered. Alright, so the New Zealand involvement, what could that look like for soldiers and task groups within the three services going over there? Well, there's a few concepts that I've got in plan, that I've got in mind, and I'll share those with you based on my experience as an infantryman on deployment 3 times and based on previous deployments of the New Zealand Defence Force. So there could be quite a small deployment, such as an observer's position, senior NCO, senior officer team, 3 to 5 man, and they might sit on the border and they might control soldiers underneath them of the other allies, and they might report on border actions or events and just watch and report. So that's our observer's position. Or there could be an infantry company group with attachments, and that could be security and stabilization operations on the border of France and Ukraine and within those regions. So that could be a company level group, task group, or it could be a platoon group conducting stabilization and security operations, a platoon group, or if the threat level is high, we could have the lab and support of those groups. So lab and support might be maybe a platoon of labs and support. So yeah. Another concept is a mounted lab company and troops. So a completely fully mounted lab and troops company deployed with attachments, or a mounted platoon, lab and troops platoon with attachments. The duration of the mission, it could be 4 months, it could be 6 months, depending on how intense it is and some of the taskings and so on and so forth. For the taskings, I think a concept of taskings could be patrolling, key point protection, QRF, surveillance and reconnaissance as well. So that's watching, that's standing on standby in case something happens. You might have the labs with QRF, or you might have an entire company on QRF, or a platoon on QRF with the labs. You might have key point protection, so protecting, say, the local town centre. There might be key point protection, or obviously protecting your FOBs, that's key point protection as well. And there might be surveillance and reconnaissance. So there might be surveillance of the border zones with other allied nations, and there might be reconnaissance missions closer to the border to watch specific junctions or points of interest. So that's the taskings for possible taskings that I can envisage as a concept idea for a deployment. Alright, so pretty much that sums up the peacekeeping mission. So pretty much company, platoon, groups, could be mounted or not mounted, or it could be a lesser deployment of an observer position like we have in North Korea, and on the South Korean, like we have in South Korea on the North Korean border, which is senior NCOs and officers, 3 to 5 men. So yeah, so that's my concepts for that. And so just gonna, yeah, that's what I think anyway. Alright, just want to say congratulations to the new second first CO, Mr. Jerry Matabrai, and hopefully the battalion will be in good hands, and obviously with your background you'll bring a certain skill and expertise that battalion may have not seen recently, obviously with your SF background, so congrats on becoming the new CO, and the work will commence. And maybe with the new budget in mind, if it goes through, you may be looking at deploying the second first fellows overseas a bit more regularly, and maybe getting more equipment for the lads and stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite good. All right, for a bit of a change, we're going to look into unfolding events at the moment. So at the moment, there are 3 Chinese warships, 1 cruiser, 1 destroyer frigate, and 1 logistics ship. They are cruising down the coast of Australia, and they have also possibly been in New Zealand waters as well. And what the news has said from 9 News in Australia, what they've said is that some airplanes have had to divert because the Chinese warships are conducting live firing exercises. They are in international waters, so they're not breaking any rules. However, this is a sign that this is a global power reaching out and cruising through our waters. And what does that mean potentially for the rest of the Pacific? Obviously, we just had the Cook Islands drama, and with them going to China and signing some secret deals with the Chinese. So watch this space, and once this event has unfolded and finished, I might do a debrief on it anyway. So yeah, but that's pretty much that. So thanks for tuning in, and there's some facts and figures for you about budgets and spending, and what the rest of the world is doing in terms of their spending and how we look. But hopefully the Prime Minister is serious about extending and reviewing the budget for the Nzdf, and if he does increase it to 2%, then we're looking at $8.4 billion per year for the rest of how long that government is in term for. And 9 times out of 10, the budget normally stays within a loose framework, and hopefully if we do get the rise, it will continue. In that way, New Zealand is stepping up in terms of what's been happening in the world, in terms of global positioning of military forces, and how a small nation like us can stand on the big wide world and hold our own. So yeah. So cheers, thanks for watching, and hopefully catch up with some of you